Hello and welcome to the Majestic Goddess Workshop. Today we're going to show you how to make a Celtic cross. We make these to celebrate St. Brigid's Day and Imbolc, which is a Celtic festival and ceremony. Here are some we've made. We made this a few days ago, probably a week ago now actually, and as you can see it's starting to fade slightly already. They start off green and they do turn to a straw colour. This is the one we've made that we actually have by our front door, and we've just added more reeds, so it's exactly the same process, but to make a bigger one like this you just add more reeds to it. And here are some smaller ones that we've made. So you can make it to suit you how you want it to look aesthetically. And as I said, we collect these reeds locally, and it's something that we do every year. We celebrate St. Brigid's Day, and the Celtic cross brings you luck, happiness and abundance and protection into the home all year. And then each year you replace it. You take the old one down and we actually do a blessing and thank it, and then replace it with a new one. So we've collected these reeds. We always take try and pick the thickest one and the strongest one as your starter reed, and then with your other finger fold in half and give it a good squash when you do this. Another reed, and if you imagine like a clock, so the reed in your starter reed is like the 12 and 6 o'clock, and you place this reed over to be 9 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock if you're looking at it, but when you hold it in your hands it's actually 9 o'clock. And then you just take another reed. You can actually fold these if you want to before you start the process. I'm just so used to doing it now that I quite like the process of folding it as well. It's quite nice. It's very therapeutic. So you take your other reed, and then you place that over the 9 o'clock down to face 6 o'clock, and give it a little squash where it starts to create the tiny square in the middle. And the tighter you can keep it at this moment, the better it will be. The nicer the cross will be. The firmer you can pull them and keep squashing them and manoeuvring them around rather than let them stay loose, the better the cross will be. So fold your next reed, and then you place that now to the 3 o'clock position underneath and 3 o'clock, and give it a good squeeze and just pull everything tight. And then moving forwards now, each time you're just going to turn it, so if you're looking at it and holding it in your hand, you're turning it anti-clockwise. It's really simple from here on in. You just take the reed, good squeeze, and then again underneath, to the 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock if you're looking at it on the screen, 9 o'clock if you're holding it. And then again turn it anti-clockwise and take the next reed and hold it and squeeze it. And just place it underneath in the 9 o'clock direction again, and give it a good squeeze. And turn anti-clockwise again. You can see it starting to form now, the centre of the cross. and you just keep going. Each time, fold, and from the underneath position, fiddly, over to the 9 o'clock, and give it a good squeeze and turn anti-clockwise, and keeping everything as tight as you can. Just keep squeezing. In our packs that you can buy in the shop, we do actually always put a few extra reeds in because they're not always perfect and some are easier to fold than others. So you can discard some of the ones that you don't find fold easily or don't look aesthetically pleasing to you. In the shop we do have a large reed pack, and that will make a lot, obviously a bigger St. Brigid's cross, and we have the size that we're making now, which in the shop will be listed as the small size. And on in bulk this year for our Majestic Goddess ceremony, we're going to be making a St. Brigid's cross actually as part of our ceremony. A group of women coming together to do creative pursuits is always lovely. And we will be having a healing ceremony, and in bulk is all about the seeds that you've planted and what you want to, well, not planted yet, what you want to germinate for the coming year. So we're releasing any doubts and limits and fears and doing a nice healing process that energizes what we'd like to create and how we'd like to feel. And then we're also doing a gorgeous guided visualization to connect with well, there's got your course, she has different names, so it's Brigid or Brigid. In the meditation we refer to her as Goddess Brigid, and it's a magical day for her. It's a beautiful meditation. It will be available in some form if you'd like to message us about that from the shop or the YouTube channel. Just keep folding, sliding underneath at the 9 o'clock position, and giving everything a good squeeze, keeping it tight at this stage. You'll start to feel it now if things start to wobble. If they're not kept tight, it's now that the cross can start to move around. You do get a chance to tighten it up later, but it's much, much better if you do it as you go. A nice squeeze, pull everything tight and turn again anti-clockwise, and you can really see how it's developing now. It's really beautiful if you do have reeds near you as well. You don't have to buy them from our shop. You can just go out if you have marshy lands near you. I'm very lucky because I live in the heart of Snowdonia, so there's an abundance of nature and reeds around here. But you could also go out and cut them yourself, which is just a beautiful experience and enjoyable thing to do in our busy, fast-paced modern lives. It's lovely just to take that time out and go back to nature. I went with my daughter and we we're just saying how lovely it is to take that time together and to do something in nature and actually bring something into the home. We like to do it at winter solstice. We bring the evergreens in and make wreaths and honour the goddess at that time as well. Another turn. Not far off completion with this one. It's looking nice. And just keep messing with it and pulling them tight where you need to. When you're doing the final one, you just need to push down the last reed in the direction that you're going in and squeeze. It's just so it finishes the cross and it's not left wiggling around. So you need to squeeze the two ends of this reed into the U shape of that reed. This is a bit fiddly, but you can do it if you try. Once you've got one or two in, if you sort of hold the reeds at the ends of the reed together, you can sort of squeeze it in, like clasping a necklace. And once you've fed them through, you can push that reed in, pull that one tight, and then pull the other one back up. And that finishes your cross. And just spend a little bit of time now just pushing everything into place and getting it where it needs to be. As they dry and they change from the green colour to the straw colour, they do sort of diminish in size a little bit when you come to tying it. We used to tie them with reeds, but found that the reeds would dry and they'd almost drop off and the cross would start falling apart. So we use this lovely thread, and this is a special yarn that we have that is green, orange and red, and they're very much the colours associated with Goddess Brigid, with a aubany flame red hair and her green dress. And it's just a really nice yarn because as the colours fade to the straw colour, it blends in beautifully with the orangey and caramel colours that are in the yarn as well, so it tends to stand the test of time. So just cut your yarn and then just place your crossover, and we just go round each one just tying a single knot. They do feel quite fragile, but they're not really. They're quite robust. It's just at this stage you feel like you don't want everything to move. And the final one. And we just tie them loosely with one knot so we can literally just go round and make sure the cross is all pulled in the right place and in the right direction. Once we're satisfied that it is, we can start pulling them tighter. And just give each one a double knot when you're happy with all the reeds being pulled tight. So pull it tight, the single knot, and then just give it a double knot to keep it firmly in place. If we ever teach this to younger children, we tend to use those little clear elastic bands. They're perfect. They keep it in place in a lovely way. And you could actually secure each leg, each bit of the cross with that if you'd like to, and then tie the yarn round later if you'd find that easier. You have the flexibility to still wriggle things around. And then we just wrap the yarn around a few times. Just be mindful of obviously not tying it so tight that the reeds break, but fairly tight, because they will shrink when they dry. So we wrap it round a few times just to get the nice colours in, and then a double knot at the back. You can also tie to one of these a loop like we've done on the large cross, and then you've got something to hang it up with. So where we're double knotting now, we just then tie the loop in as well. And a final one. Don't do what I've done and not leave yourself much room. Cut yourself a longer piece of yarn. This one's a little bit fiddly. And then we'll just go round and tidy everything up. And just snip off the excess yarn. It's actually really enjoyable and therapeutic just doing this as well. It is a lovely Celtic tradition. It's even nicer when you do it at the right time of year as well. Bringing yourself back into the rhythms and cycles of Mother Nature. And there you have it. Let's do a final trimming of the reeds. You don't have to do this, but we always feel like it looks neat and tidy if you go round and do that. And there you go. The lovely Celtic St. Brigid's cross to celebrate in bulk. So you hang that by your front door on the inside. Someone said, shall I put it on the outside? And if you want to carry on, it's exactly the same process, just to make a bigger cross. It's the same, it's just more reeds, and on this one, like we said, we've put a hook on the back. So if you're interested in this and the other ceremonies that we have to offer, we always tend to make something. Please visit majesticgoddess.co.uk, and you can subscribe to our newsletter, and try and find us on Facebook as well, and we can invite you to the events as they pop up.